Hello, beautiful ones. Welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to share with you today. Thank you so much for being here. If you are new, my name is Leisha, and I have been documenting my leveling up journey. So I'm working on becoming more elegant, more feminine, but also building generational wealth and not just looking like $1 million, but actually being worth $1 million or more, hopefully sooner rather than later. So it's really important to me to work on financial education. It's an area that for a long time I felt like I had to work on. And this really didn't start out as me wanting to build wealth necessarily. It was just I had certain desires and things that I wanted to go do that cost money, took resources, and I did not have those resources. So I'm literally going to kind of walk you through where I got started with my financial education and where I am today, what my husband and I are working on together in order to continue building our wealth. I used to get really overwhelmed when it came to finances. So I'll kind of walk you through where I got started, and I kind of call these now my key components of an elegant woman's financial education. And each area that I'm working on currently, I try to keep it as simple as possible. So some of you may know that my mantra for the year is simple is feminine. I am the type of person that can get overwhelmed really easily. And I think that if you feel like that often about any area of your level up journey, it's important to simplify. It's important to take a little break if you need to, and don't be ashamed of that. You can totally pick back up. It's important to keep a really healthy mindset when you are working on something, especially finances and building wealth, because it is so important to have a clear mind. Now, when I got started with working on improving my financial education, I will just say I never took a formal personal finance class in school. I never took accounting. I did not take any business courses in school, and I have 2 bachelor's degrees. So neither one of my degrees was related whatsoever to business. Everything that I have learned, I have had to take the initiative and learn by experience over time in order to get to where I am today, which my husband and I talk to each other all the time and just say, wow, like we're really grateful and proud of ourselves for all the hard work we've done to learn and to implement what we've learned in our life. Now, where I think that I would recommend getting started and what I got started with first is I had to master managing the money and income that I had available at any given time. So when I first started out, when we were first married, we had to figure out how to live off of the income we had. I had a part-time job at the moment, and my husband was working full-time, but I wanted to do a lot of things that I saw as things that would make me happy, that I would enjoy doing, but we really did not have the funds to support that. And so one of the first things that I had to get good at and we had to sit down and do was we had to make a budget. We realized that if we didn't track our income that was coming in, if we didn't figure out exactly where all of our money was going to begin with, then we would never be able to meet any of the goals that we wanted to meet. So if you're working on a smaller income and you have a fixed income right now, you haven't gotten to some of these other steps that I'm going to share that we did, then you've got to get good at managing what you have. And I think no matter how much money you have, even if you are a millionaire, you have to be able to manage your money. And this is a skill that I think will take you really far in your personal finance journey. So financial education, you've got to first learn and master how to manage your own money. Managing your own money well and being a good steward of what you have will empower you more than you realize. I think a lot of people are afraid to check their bank accounts, and I was certainly very afraid to check my bank account in the beginning. I remember being in my mid-20s and not wanting to open up my bank account. I just would go to the grocery store and hope that I had enough in there to pay for the bill. So I don't recommend living like that. You've really got to get in the habit of checking in on your money. My husband and I have a budget spreadsheet that we try to keep up to date as each month goes by with where we're spending our money and what we are working on so that we're both on the same page. You can easily set something up like this in Google Sheets, and it's free. You can completely just make different columns for the areas of spending that you know are going to be your fixed areas or your variable areas like food and groceries. You can also do something that we did for a little while was the envelope method, where we would say, okay, going out to eat this week, we're only going to spend X amount, and we would take the cash out of the bank account and put it in the envelope. I don't know if that works for everyone. It worked for us for a little bit, and then it got kind of difficult to manage. But if that's something you've tried, let me know in a comment down below. What do you think? The next area that we had to get started on in order to build ourselves up to where we are today was understanding how credit works. And I think that honestly, a lot of us have a bit of a fixed or limited sort of mindset or understanding really about credit and how it can be used and how it should be used. For me, I did not really have any experience when I was in my early 20s. I never had a credit card until we were married. I didn't have anything except for student loans. That was all that I had to my name as far as borrowed money went. But something that I didn't realize was that utilizing credit and being able to leverage and build your credit is really important if you plan on building any type of wealth. If you plan on owning a home, if you plan on owning a car, those types of things, even owning a business, you need to be able to have some type of credit built up, and you need to understand how to use credit wisely. It's very important to get that wisely part right. So you may consider reading a few books that I have on my list. I've listed them on my kit.co page, which is linked in the description. One of the biggest books that I think would be helpful if you're trying to understand how to responsibly use credit and even budget and a lot of other things is I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. That was one of the first personal finance books that I actually picked up off of the shelf, and I think that it helped me a lot. So we did end up opening up some credit accounts, and we actually have really excellent credit scores, which I'm very proud of, thanks to being able to learn how to use credit wisely and leverage it. So I have used credit for my business in order to grow my business and to buy things that I needed to do a better job in my business for my clients. I've been able to do things like take extra courses online thanks to credit, work with mentors thanks to credit, and things like that. Of course, buying this home. So that's really important to understand. And I'm not a credit expert, but that is, again, an area that you have to master and you have to understand. It's kind of like sharks. A lot of people are afraid of sharks simply because I don't think they fully understand a lot about sharks. They're sort of scary looking, but again, sharks are necessary to the ecosystem. Here I am showing my beach bum side to you. I do think that an elegant woman uses credit in a very wise way. She is disciplined. She's not just putting all of her handbags on a credit card and not paying them off and actually paying more for them because of interest. So be very careful, be wise, do your research on credit. Again, Ramit Sethi has really great tips about using credit cards, getting the best credit cards possible to get points and use perks and things like that. So make sure you check out his book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich. Now, the third area that I think elegant women need to work on in their financial education is building highly valued skills and increase their earning potential. In our household, we do have a dual income, and for us, because we did not inherit a trust fund, we have not inherited property, we have not inherited any sort of wealth from anyone, this is the way that we have chosen to work together in order to build up our earning potential. As women, I do think that it is important to work while you can and build your knowledge and skills if you ever need them. So even if you're not at a point right now where you are building a career, maybe you're raising a family, or you're able to work on your home or manage other things while your husband is earning his income to contribute to the household, it is still important to always be thinking about skills and income streams that you can add. Maybe you go back to school, although I think you should be very careful with that. Make sure that you understand the skills that are really in demand out there right now, because the demand for a skill is what also plays into the earning potential for that skill. You also want to be able to maybe consider learning how to build a business system. This is one of the biggest ways that you will be able to build your own wealth. And I think that it shouldn't be overlooked. I've learned a lot being able to build a career, but I've also learned a lot by having businesses and working on building business systems. Most wealthy people that I know, they own a business system like a franchise, or they have built one that they have really grown their earning potential through and built a generational, given generational wealth to their families through. So I don't want anyone to overlook business as a really important way to increase your earning potential. So now here is sort of the fourth area that we've been focusing on for our financial education. And I think this is very important for us women to be able to understand as well. And that is, of course, investing. I've talked about investing in some of my other videos. So if you haven't seen those, I'll link them up here on the screen. We are currently working on not only our stock portfolios, but also real estate. So we do own our own home, but we are potentially looking into purchasing another home. My whole idea that I think about is the idea of monopoly, right? You want to get the 4 greenhouses and trade them up for a big red hotel. So that is something that we would love to be able to do. We really, though, don't fully get to the stage where we can invest freely until we're able to manage our money well. We're able to understand how credit works and the different options we have. And then also we've worked on our earning potential. So in order to do things like buy real estate or purchase stock, those areas have to be in place. There has to be some kind of foundation. I'm not saying they all have to be fully mastered, because for us, we're able to start investing where we are, and I still feel like we have a lot more earning potential. I still feel like we could utilize credit and learn a little bit more about credit, although we're getting a little bit more sophisticated with where we are, more so than just credit cards, loans, and mortgages. We're getting a little bit more sophisticated in the credit area. But investing is something that you have to get to if you truly want to build generational wealth. You have to. You can't avoid it. And I will say that for my limited understanding about a couple of years ago even, so I've really gone and done the deep work in order to get to where I am in my knowledge of investing today. I've gone and hired mentors to work with me and teach me about investing, teach me about the stock market. I read big books like the one that you saw in this thumbnail. I read a lot of different books on the topic of investing because for me, at least, it was always something that was very complicated, but again, I want to simplify these topics. Now, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it, right? You have to be courageous here, you have to be disciplined, and you, of course, just really need to take some time. You need to get away, put away distractions, put away social media for a little bit. Set aside some time each day where you can sit down and focus for maybe an hour, read a book, go through a course that teaches you about investing and the different options that you currently have. There are, of course, people of many different backgrounds, many different areas of income. You don't have to be someone who's making over $100,000 a year to invest, right? You can decide to live a little more frugally. You can stay down until you come up sort of mentality. And maybe it takes you a little while longer to get to a certain goal before you buy that new handbag, that designer handbag you want. Don't get me wrong, I really look forward to being able to purchase my first designer handbag, but when I think about how I could put that money into the stock market or even into some real estate, I just think twice about it. And so you probably won't see me honestly carrying a brand new designer handbag until we've been able to get a couple of rental properties into our portfolio. I don't know how long that's going to take. We're really hoping that within the next year or two, we'll be able to get our first one and being able to get some experience under our belts. So that's sort of just to share a little bit about currently where we are and what we're educating ourselves on. Remember to always buy assets before you buy liabilities. You can use the money from your assets to buy your liabilities. That's something that I learned last year that I needed to be careful with. I have some videos that are about shopping in very smart and economically savvy ways. I'll link those here on the screen for you as well if you're sort of concerned about how do I pull together this elegant image while also working on my finances. It just seems like so much. Again, try to focus on one thing at a time, but if you could focus anywhere right now that you need to, I would say financial education. There's always something that we can learn. And I think that it's important to ask good questions and make sure that you have a full understanding of what it's going to take financially, how everything's going to add up and compound over time to get you to that multiple $1,000,000 net worth one day. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this gave you some food for thought. Let me know down below what area you're currently working on. Maybe I can make some more videos that go into more detail specifically about things that we did and we took action on, and books that we read, mentors that we worked with, things like that. I am really excited about how far my husband and I have come so far in this wealth building journey. I can't wait to see in the next year what we're able to accomplish. I know that there will be challenges like always, but I think trying to keep things simple, taking breaks again when we need to take them, doing our reflection time, doing some deep work, I think that will go a long way, even though I'm really impatient and I want to be able to have that $1,000,000 net worth like yesterday. So thanks again for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.